Coming up this week on Beyond the Vibe, we're chatting to Arjun and Deggy of Gorilla Riot.
Rob is an absolute weirdo, that guy. I love him. But my God, he's the strangest guy I've ever seen. Like, he gets fucked and then he starts biting, he gets on the floor and starts biting people's ankles and shit. It's like, what are you doing? I'm the king of rock and roll.
We hid frozen veg in Ben Laguna's suitcase, which was mint, and he didn't know about it for like 4 days.
Where's my cheese toasty? Fuck your cheese toasty, man.
So me and Will found it hilarious, just like this guy's taking it serious. So at the Wolverhampton gig we played at the Gifford with you guys, he was asleep. So I nicked his shoes. I can't remember where I put them, but I hid them, and he fucking shit hits the fan straight away. Just like,
where's my fucking shoes?
Where's my shoes? Like, yeah, weren't you guys just outside the back of the Gifford for like 3 or 4 hours just chatting with Massive? I was like, yeah, Ben Laguna was telling us about his prison convictions and how he worked.
Hello and welcome to Beyond the Vibe, the show that cuts deep into the world of music.
Thank you, Mr. Vasey. My name is Aaron Day. I'm lead guitarist in UK band These Wicked Rivers from beautiful Derby, and I'm here, as said, with music videographer and photographer is Mr. Ryan Vasey.
Yes.
Always.
Yeah,
the big introduction.
This week we spoke to Deggy and Arjun from Gorilla Riot, which you can hear in a moment. But before then, what have you been listening to?
What have I been listening to? What have I been listening to? I've been listening to, well, after I chat with Ricky, Mr. Ricky Warwick, I checked out, because I'll be honest with you, Ricky. I only listened, realistically, bought the first Black Star Riders album, All Hell Breaks Loose, and I like that album. First 5-6 songs are killer. So I checked out State of Grace, because that seems to be the album that most people are digging. It was cool. There's a lot more Celtic elements in there. Like, first song's got a saxophone, which I like, which isn't Celtic, but obviously brings in that Thin Lizzy element, which obviously they had a bit of saxophone in there in terms of the live show. I digged it. It was cool. Obviously, been listening to Ricky's album as well. Me and Rye recently watched the Lemmy documentary. Watched it before we interviewed the Gorilla Riot boys, and and that then meant that I went and listened to all the Motorhead in the world in my face at one point. This is interesting. I was listening to Motorise, the album from about 2004 that he's recording at the time of the Lemmy documentary. And I dropped my missus off at work, and I went to the petrol station, filled up, and I thought, I'll get a couple of ciders. I fancy cider, I'll have a couple of cider. 3 for £5. Bought 3 ciders. I thought, this is fine, I might not drink them all.
Drank him in the car while driving.
I had my leg out the window, crashed the van. No, so I didn't drink any of them on the way back, but I was listening to Motoriser, and it was like, which is obviously how Lemmy sings.
The Motoriser cover by Brian Johnson.
You got the looks. And I was going down this, and I weren't speeding. Officer. And I was going off this dual carriageway, and the lights were about to change at the end, and it was about to go amber, and I thought, shit. And sometimes people pull out quick at the end of this, so I put my brakes on, and then at the end of this massive riff, like Phil Campbell doing his wah solo, just stopped the van, and all the cider smashed all over my van, and it was shit. And I've never been so but my panny chocolates didn't get wet, which is all that matters.
I remember getting in the van. I had this waft, and I was like, "What is that smell?" And I was like, I don't want to say anything because
I had to come back at 10:30 at night and scrape glass and cider out of the van. I was going to clean it, but the next day I didn't think it smelled that bad, so I've left it. It'll be all right.
That nice smell of cider in the morning.
Yeah, it's gone nice and rotten now. So I've been listening to loads of I really like them modern Motorhead albums. I think they're good, man. I think Lemmy's lyrics are really underrated. He's a great lyricist, and there's a band they just know what they are, and I vibe off that. Cool. We've got Gorilla Riot boys, as you said this week. Enjoyed the chat with Deggy and Arjun. I think they're good guys. It felt very much on what we're trying to do with Beyond the Vibe, where it felt like we were properly just having a drink and just taking the piss out of each other, which is what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah, and I will say, if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, you're seriously missing out on something.
What is this? What is this beat? What is the beat?
Well, there's an extra layer this week, because Arjun is wearing an interesting outfit that he doesn't really completely explain. So you're losing a little bit there if you don't come and watch the video.
We're not going to tell you what that is.
Well, we're not. So with that in mind, here is Deggy and Arjun of Gorilla Riot.
So we're here with Arjun and Deggy of Manchester 5-piece Gorilla Riot. Thanks for joining us, boys.
Shabba. Nice one.
Woo! Love it.
No worries.
So, I mean, I have to ask because people are going to ask, what is it with the Santa outfit?
Don't know what you're talking about.
Well,
It's a new age, motherfucker.
It's the new age.
So, like, let's go right back to the beginning for you guys. Like, what came first for you, Arjun? Like, playing guitar or singing? And what was it the same for you, Deggy, with like your stuff?
For me, it was guitar. I've learned violin since I was a wee kid, and got pretty good. Got to like grade 7, and then realized I hated it because you can't get to play your favorite songs, you know. But my sister got me into rock and roll when I was about 11 or 12, so I wanted to play guitar from then. Then my dad got me a guitar, and then from that it went on. So I wanted to be Richie Sambora or Slash. That was it for me. And I tried to be the lead guitarist of a band for fucking years, and I couldn't find a singer, so I had to just suck it up and learn how to sing, and then the rest kind of fell into place about 10 years later. But
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So it didn't come naturally for you to sing then, it was a force.
No, it was like if I'm honest, I still fucking hate it, man. Like I can't be arsed being a front person, and I fucking hate singing. It's a pain in the ass. Like, who wants to do that every night? Like, just give me some beers and let me on stage and play a guitar, and I'm fucking happy, man. There's no need for any of the other bullshit, you know, that comes with being a front person. I fucking hate it.
And I think that works with your identity though, man, because you're not like stereotypical. You're not David Coverdale, are you?
No. What are you trying to say?
No, we Santa's after.
No, I'm kidding. But yeah, so yeah, it took a while, but you know, I've been in, to be fair, not that many bands, but enough to know, you know, maybe your time's up. You know, you've given it a go. And then I was with a band which happened to be with a guy. The bassist of that band was Deggy's oldest mate.
Right.
And Deggy came to see us at one of our 2 gigs, and we were shite, man. I mean, this guy, he's called Crouton. He goes by many names, and he's an absolute legend. But he never learned any of the tunes because he couldn't be asked. You know, he's there for a party, and it was great. But you know, those 2 gigs were fucking awful. But Deggy saw one of them, and he liked it. So after the gig, he came up and said, "That was mint." I was like, "Yeah, no." But he's like, "If you ever want to do anything, give me a shout." I was like, "All right." And about 2 years later, I called him up, and he was still keen.
Sick. What about for you, Deggy? Like, what got you into playing bass, man?
Well, it was a bit of a weird one because I've always grown up like with Purple, White Snake, Zeppelin, and everything. So my dad's like well into all that, but playing bass, I don't know why I wanted to start playing bass. I think it's just it was different. Like, I didn't want to play guitar, but my dad was just like, to play bass, you need to play guitar for a few years. So he forced me to play guitar for about 2 years, and I fucking hated it. Then in the end, I won him over, and I got a bass. And I don't know.
His dad, by the way, is like an exceptional frontman who's gigged like from the 70s onwards. So he wanted his son to be like the king of whatever band he's in, which he kind of is in his own snidey way.
But that was it. It was just like, I wanted to do it, but it was like, I don't want all like eyes on me. I'd rather just stand at the back and just do my bit. And I don't know, I kind of think the Cliff Williams situation's cool. Like, he's
Legend.
the backbone of that fucking band, and he can walk down the street and no one knows who he is if he wants that. So
Yeah, man. If you're looking,
As if, Deggy, you want to be known on the street. Let's be honest.
Right.
Don't act like you want to be anonymous.
That's how it started. That's how it started, and then things developed.
you're right though, man. Because if you look in bands, if the bass player or the drummer's shit, then the whole thing's fucked. You know, it's what holds it all together. I mean, like Cliff Arjun was vibing on it, like Cliff Williams and Phil Rudd is like, that's what holds DC together, man. It's what you tap your foot to. So if that's on its arse, the whole thing's fucked at that point, you know. So there is
absolutely. That's the whole thing. Like, I mean, taste is whatever. Everyone has different tastes, but for me, you need that groove in there for any kind of music. And if you don't have that, then the whole thing is just, I'm not going to be that into it. And I think my taste is the best, so that's. But like your band, man, there's a clear groove that happens, and that's what gets you into it. You're not going to be able to appreciate anything without being settled into a certain thing, at least for me.
No, I appreciate that, man. And I've always been big on bass players. You know, I think if you've got a good bass player, it's a big thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And less is more a lot of the time, but it's still as important.
It is. Yeah. It took me a long while to like come to terms with that in a way, because I was playing in like, it was a 4-piece but with one guitarist, like just Hendrix covers and stuff. This was before I joined Riot, and I had freedom to do near enough whatever I wanted there near enough. And then coming into this environment with 3 guitar players, it took me a good long while to get used to just like less is more, just keep the right hand solid and left hand just stay there and do it.
Yeah, you best shut the fuck up and sit back, otherwise, there's 3 lead guitar players there, so but that we all kind of feel that in this band, because we're all lead players, so we all have to shut up for a lot of the time, which I think is important.
Yeah, big time. If you look at some of the best songs of rock and roll, man, most of them are simple, and it's about what they're actually like. It's like you say, it goes back to the groove. Groove normally reigns supreme, and then it's just adding additional things on that.
Exactly. We can all be like, huge Rush fans and all that kind of stuff, but most basic humans, they need just a groove to get into, and I'm a basic human, and I need that too.
So Gorilla Riot were formed in 2013, and let's get it out the way. I mean, how did the name Gorilla Riot come about? I mean, was there any kind of gorilla-related incident that happened, or something? Because it's quite an unusual name, isn't it?
Yeah, every day, man. It's complete bullshit, man. I'd like to have a story for you, but it's just nothing.
Something you came up with.
It's literally like the bassist I was talking about, Crouton, he wanted to call us Porno Riot. And I just, I was like, I kind of want to do this as my life, so I'm not going to allow that name. But the Riot I was like, okay with. And then our other mate, Jake, texted me something about, whilst we were in the studio, like something about chimpanzee warrior force or something. And I was like, I do like monkeys, like all my passwords are like to do with monkeys. I'm not going to say what they are, but I was like, what about Gorilla Riot? And everyone just looked around and said, yeah, man, let's go. We were literally like releasing the first album like in 2 days' time, and we're still like mixing it and shit. So we just like, yeah, fuck it, go with it. And so that's it. Yeah.
No, it's a cool name, man.
Also, like, there's no other band called Gorilla Riot. So in terms of Google, it was, yeah, let's go for it, man. Like,
sets you apart, man.
Yeah.
Badass.
I wish it was more interesting, but
no,
it is not. It is.
We have this fucking problem when we get asked it, because it's like these wicked rivers. You'd think, oh, there's got to be a cool story about it, and then we asked Hartwell, and Hart was like, I was outside practice, and I was
in a car park.
Banding around names, you just came up with it, really. And like,
everything's sexier when it's done in a Midlands accent as well.
Yeah. I mean, it don't sound like him at all. We'll roll with it, but as soon as he lays on that it's in a car park, it's just rock and roll. The whole rock and roll.
Oh yeah,
it's gone at that.
Yeah, it's a good name, man. It's a good name because Wicked is always good, and Rivers. I like a river, man. It's just a good name.
Rivers are alright, man. It's alright. And Riot's good. Riot's evokes like a certain amount of passion, a bit of aggression.
Yeah, I mean it does, but unfortunately I mean, we don't only do that, so sometimes it kind of holds us back because we do a lot of acoustic shit as well. But you know, who cares? It's a fucking name, man.
Yeah, that's it. So Arjun, you formed the band. How did you go about recruiting? I mean, you've kind of spoke about it a little bit, you know, with kind of going through the history, but maybe looking at sort of the sound of the band, did you have anything particular in mind, you know, when you all came together, or did that just come naturally from the jams?
No, so I mean, as a band, we don't jam. So
Right.
with my first bands, I'd always write the tunes anyway. But with this band, I was like, look, I've done enough now. Either I'll give it one last shot, and so I recruited the best people that I thought were around in Manchester. So that's Charlie, Liam, and Deggy. And they all said yeah, but at that point I was like, let's just see, because I don't want to be pigeonholed into a certain thing. But I knew these players could play, so I went with that. The drummer situation has taken a while, but we've got the right guy now.
Cool.
But in terms of like, the guys always give me enough time and whatever. They just say, look, we'll wait for whatever. You bring the demos to us, and as soon as I give them to them, there's a few, don't get me wrong, that they go by the wayside, but most of them they'll fucking learn and they'll just make so much better, and it'll turn into a different song from anything that I imagined. So kind of works that way. I'll have a certain vision of how I want to do the next album, or like Deggy knows, but we have kind of our next 3 releases are planned out, and one's fully acoustic, one's Stonesy, and the next one's funk and still rock, but like funk rock. And
yeah, man,
they just allow me the time to write the initial tunes, and then I'm playing with some of the best musicians I've ever seen, so you know, it's quite easy for me.
No, it's a really interesting dynamic, because it's a lot different than probably other bands, you know. I mean, for yourself, Deggy, kind of being involved in that compared to scenarios you've been in before with writing. Do you vibe off that, kind of having songs brought to you as a band and you can just add your own mark onto it at that point?
Yeah, man, for sure. It's one of them though. I've only ever been in 3 bands in my life, so the other 2 bands was just like a mess about college band, and the other one was a cover band, like I said. So I was very new to all of this in a way, and for me it's kind of the norm. That's like all I've ever known when it comes to it. But I always look forward to like receiving new tunes dropping in the inbox and having a listen. It's like, okay, what's going to happen with this? What do I need to do, and what do I definitely don't need to do in it? So I don't know. I just try and keep everything solid and simple, and then just let the guys do their magic.
Oh, that's cool, man.
Yeah, for me at least, like when it comes to that kind of stuff, I've been in bands before and I know it works for other bands, and it's great. I think it adds a lot when bands come together with just an idea and they write something together. But I've been in bands like that before, and at least the 3 guitarists have all been in bands where you come together with all different ideas, and it's just a fucking mess, and you spend like 2 hours just everyone's having a shit time, and no song is made. I prefer, even when I play for other people, occasionally that happens, and I prefer a song to be there, and then everyone has a starting point, right? You can learn that, and then you can just go from there, and you can change it, whatever. But if you just come in with loads of ideas, it's a bit fucking hectic for me, that, and I just can't. I want to enjoy what I'm doing, right? I don't want to sit there and it's fucking bollocks, you know?
It can end up a bit of a pursuit of ego, as well as people trying to find their own fucking place in it, which I don't get from you guys at all. Like, I feel like that bullshit just doesn't matter. Like, there's a real respectable amount of space for everyone, which I think is really cool.
There's too many egos in this band to have that, so everyone needs to just shut the fuck up and get on with it. You know?
I like how the overriding theme from Arjun is to shut the fuck up and get on with it.
Yeah, I mean, we're just,
I feel like that's mounted in the room, like when you record it.
Yeah, literally, just fucking shut up and get on with it, man. Come on.
Obviously you mentioned it, but you guys obviously support that 3 guitar lineup. Sonically, this is quite different to other bands and gives you that option to do kind of harmony guitar parts. Was this intended from the start, or did you just kind of come about that with, you know, like when you were picking your line out? And
no, it was intended from when I picked the the lineup we have now because when I was just like, let's give it one last shot to do something with your life in music, and I was like, let's get the three guys. And I always thought when I saw a 3-piece or a 4-piece, no matter how good they were, there'd always be things left off live that they could have done, that they'd done on the record that were missing necessarily. So, and it wouldn't necessarily detract from the performance, but I just thought, why not just have it all? And that will always also require people, like I said, shutting up and just maybe playing an A for a whole song. But it doesn't matter because you have the options, and if everyone's okay with letting someone else have this bit and have that bit, then in principle, like an orchestra, if you have all the instruments, everything's there for you. So, that was the thinking behind it.
That's cool. I like the fact that you made the point. I was going to bring it back to you, but you already made it. In that it's cool because anything overdubs or anything, you can give a performance that's a proper replica of what's on the album.
Yeah, and there'll still be more overdubs and stuff that are on record than what we do, but we can give a closer approximation to that, I guess.
No, that's cool, man. So between your origins and your first full-length release, Peach, you released 1 mini LP, 3 EPs. Your track Bad Son was then chosen to be included on the Earache Presents New Wave of Rock and Roll with some other killer bands, which is badass. What's your thoughts on the scene as a whole, boys? I mean, you guys seem to be a key band within that community, having gigged with obviously Piston and Massive, and I always think back to when we played Our Rock Hell and you boys were playing the after show. And like me and Art were wandering around, and there was like obviously Stevie from Bad Touch, and the Wolfjaw Boys. There's a real community there. Like, how do you see the community as a whole and your place in it all?
I mean, Deggy's probably a nicer one to ask about this, but I like it. I like who I like. So if I meet people who are cool, I get on with them. I like some of the bands on that scene. I also think there's a lot wrong with that scene, but that's just my opinion. It's the same with a lot of scenes. There's I don't want to say too much, I guess, but it is what it is. It helps some people, and it's a lot of bullshit as well.
No, I respect that, man. It's nothing like we've chatted to a lot of bands like within it and not within it, and I think it's important to be open and honest. I agree. I've got, even though I feel a lot of support from it, at the same time, there's like with any scene, as you say, there's positives and negatives. I mean, spinning to yourself, Deggy. I mean, how do you feel in terms of that whole community and wave?
I like the community aspect of it. Like, I think that it is good to give the platform for bands and to get the stuff out there, but as Arjun said, there is a lot of bullshit involved in there, and to be honest, there's probably a handful of bands I like in that scene, and that's like what I'd actually like and go and buy the record of. I find myself looking in different areas for new music now rather than what I've been brought up listening to, because I feel like with rock and roll as well at the minute, I feel like I'm constantly chasing the dragon like I were when I was 12. I was getting everything like Aerosmith, AC/DC and stuff like that, and it was all fresh and new, and I was like, oh my god, what's this? I need it. But nowadays I'm hearing stuff coming out and I just feel a bit deflated, just like they could have done better on that in a way. So I'm looking for different areas and stuff, and like what's new and out at the minute that's doing something different. And I think people play it safe. People ask for opportunities.
That's it. That's the way to say it. Yeah.
Why kiss someone's ass for an opportunity? Make the opportunity for yourself. And
because exactly. And I think in that scene, it's not just it's not specific to that scene or whatever. It's all the industry. But people seem to be, they'll chase this success. They want that tour, so they'll release a tune or an album that sounds exactly like someone else. And I'm like, sound like you fucking self, man. And then people will like it more, And if they don't, fuck it.
No,
you don't play for the fucking fans, man. You play for yourself, and hopefully they like it. If you start playing for the fans, then you fucked.
They need to shut the fuck up and get on with it, man. They're just fucking about.
Point to there, sir. I keep pointing to there.
But got it. I really appreciate your honesty, boys. I mean, we were chatting about this beforehand because we were checking out like some different bands, and my problem with it, and I always push the boys with this, is I feel like it's so easy. Like, and the problem is that people like a lot of the, and I really, it's a difficult conversation because you don't want to discredit anyone or create any bad.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But I think the problem is that because people like, I think the overall rock fan at the minute soaks up the paint by numbers rock and roll really well. And the trouble is, if every band then just appetizes that, the whole thing just revolves and nothing new is ever created. You know, I'm really similar to yourself. I'm really like, big influence for me is like Jethro Tull and Ian Anderson, and that real kind of, you know.
It's brave to say that, bro, but yeah.
Stand on one leg.
Loves a jazz flute, this kid.
But that's what I mean, though. I love the fact that it's pushing the boundaries out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Challenging the scene to develop and try new things to push it to that next level.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just one wheel constantly revolving all the time, year by year, and it never moves forward.
Absolutely. And it's not necessarily about, because some people could always say like, oh, if a band has a certain sound and they release a similar type of record every time, there's nothing wrong with that. That's good, but you still have to be true into like be yourself. There's no need to push boundaries for the sake of it. But if you play, there's nothing more unique than the actual people who are making that music, right? So just don't try and conform to some formula. Just play how you want to play it, and that's unique enough, I think.
No, I agree completely, and I think it's very. Like me and Ryan talk a lot about this. I think that when people are true to themselves, I think it's there to see. And on the same camera, when they're not, I think you can see that. You know,
you can tell. It's corny as fuck, but it's pretty true, man.
I think a prime example of that with us was the last 12 months, to be fair, with the pandemic hitting, because like there were so many ideas thrown about. Just like, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Live stream shows, all this stuff and whatnot. And we was like, no, want none of it. We'll just stay true to ourselves and just do it our way, or else we won't bother.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean it's not right for other people to do a live stream.
No, not at all. Not at all. But I don't know. It's like I'd rather, like, and I know you would. I'd rather do something if our heart's in it for this instead of the sake of just doing it.
Yeah, I think it's got to, because you know, I'm not fucking 18 anymore. It's got to a point where this fucking life is hard. Like it's very hard to hold a band together in whatever times these days, and especially a rock band. There's not much going for us. If you're gonna do it, just fucking do it like you want to do it. You know, not like anyone else wants to do it.
Because the thing at the end of it, you can walk away and know that you've committed everything of yourself to it, don't you? There's no bullshit, and you haven't got any regrets about that at the end of it.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, man, vibe on that.
Yeah, so obviously your first full-length LP, Peach, was released in January 2020, just over a year ago. So when we listened back to the first mini album, we felt that there was more of that bluesy overtone, whereas Peach feels a bit more heavier. Do you feel the identity and sound of the band has developed over time, or have you guys just like grown naturally into that kind of more heavier sound?
No, I think we've got better as a band, but that Peach isn't anything to think of how we're going to progress. I mean, we haven't announced anything. We'll say we're doing an EP soon, and it's just full on acoustic. So we're always going to be changing our. I think we'll probably always be rock and roll based, but we've got better as a band because we've been playing together for 7 years, and but the sound is going to change because I get bored and I'm not going to be pigeonholed. So I'm not going to, just because Peach was heavy. I mean, don't get me wrong, I fucking love heavy. You know, I'm in the pit every fucking time at a fucking show, but I also like a bit of acoustic shit, and I like everything in between. So.
I think it was an interesting question based on what you said earlier as well, because obviously you've got, for yourself in particular, you've got quite a creative vision in terms of what you want to do for like the next like 3 releases, you said, you know, and I quite like the fact you've given yourself that creative room. Like we said, you know, you're not fucking putting yourself in a box, and you feel like you've got that room to be able to express not just yourself but for the band to express themselves, you know, and that's a good thing to have.
Yeah.
So no, I look forward to that, man. It was sick. So coming away from
I'm sorry, I thought there was a question coming.
No, I was just piss assing around with it, mate.
I'm really bad at these Zoom things, man. I'm sorry.
That's all right. That's cool, man.
So coming away from the music, because one of the things we like to do is kind of get a vibe. Just been fucking nosy.
Yeah, let's get into the crux of the matter.
Just be nosy, to be honest.
Yeah, go for it.
So Deggy, you're an artist. Last December, you raised over £1,000 for a local food bank with your raffle of your piece showcasing Oliver holding his bowl up to the High Peak MP, which is badass.
Cheers.
Awesome.
Fucking big respect, Dad.
Yeah,
he deserved it. He really so how it all came about in a way, like I was having a proper depressed week, like really bad. I was like, I might actually cave this time and go and get antidepressants, because I usually just self-medicate by impulse buying shit that I don't need. For example, 14-foot trampoline when my mum and dad were on holiday.
Yeah, you fucking did do that. Jesus. Yeah, they were not happy. They were not happy.
But yeah, no, I was just scrolling online and I noticed he voted against feeding the hungry kids. And then he just puts on like, I'm having a competition for under 13s to design my new Christmas card. I was like, right, you're having it, you fucker.
Yeah.
So I did it. I publicly humiliated him and showed him who my boss and raised a lot of money for the food bank. So yeah.
Fucking sick, man. You can't argue with that. I mean, in terms of your art, then, because obviously we were chatting over the weekend, man, and showing me what you're working on. Is it something where you've ever wanted to collaborate it with the music side, or do you keep it kind of separate as your own beast?
I'm open. I did a limited run of paintings on vinyls of us over summer. I think I only limited it to 10 sets. So I did them. I've got a really, really cool collaboration coming out with one of my favourite guitar players. That should be in a couple of weeks if all goes to plan.
Awesome.
But it's one of them. I'm open for anything. If it's a way you can express yourself and have a really good creative process with that, then I'm open for whatever, man.
Cool.
Like if someone texts pride in painting a 20-foot cock and balls on a wall or doing something dead cool, as long as you dig it, then sound.
Sick.
One thing I'll say is as well, like Deggy, I've seen him. He wasn't like 18 when I first started playing with him, but he was still young compared to some of us. And on bass and this painting thing as well, you could see his progression. And he's when he puts his mind to something, he fucking does it, and he does the right things and the important things. And that against that knobhead politician was case in point. There you go. He's a good guy, that guy. So like Deggy, I'm saying, not the other guy.
Right. You say that, but I am like the biggest bastard in the world.
Oh, he's an absolute knobhead. Don't get me wrong. But I like taking the piss out of people. Deggy's great at that. But when it comes down to it, he's a solid human.
Well, it goes back to what we were saying before, Deg, about the fucking our love for Lemmy and Motorhead. It's that I've obviously I was saying I've been watching the Lem documentary, and it does give you this fucking massive feeling of just being against people at the top that haven't got a fucking. It's like it really unites that feeling in you, and I think that I imagine that sort of thing pushes you towards doing stuff like that, because I think
the thing is, it shouldn't be that case, but unfortunately it is still at the moment. Even in the most privileged places in the world, like here, it's still a shit show, isn't it? Like from up top. So that's the way it is. But all we can do is hope.
Yeah, that's it.
So for yourself, Arjun, what do you get up to in your spare time apart from dress up as Santa?
This is just for you guys and select other occasions.
I don't want to know them occasions.
I do. So I work part time with young autistic adults. So I have like five guys that I support, cool. And I love those guys, but they're also, if you're there too much, it gets a bit much. So, but that shit pays the bills for me, and I work with great people there. So, but that's 2 days a week, and the rest is Riot, and I can't wait to quit the other job so I can do Riot. But I don't think that's gonna happen. I've been waiting a while, and I think I'll probably have to wait, but. I
vibe on the fact that what you do during the day, because that's what I do.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
The whole thing, the whole reason I've always enjoyed doing it is because I always feel like it's fucking what was on about a minute ago. It's a bit of a rebellion, isn't it? You're not sitting in an office, you know.
That's it. You know, I can wear my own clothes.
Yeah, that's
Firstly,
it.
that's important because you just feel that's if you don't have to wear a suit. My God, it's so much better, right?
Oh man.
And also, you know, it's the first job that I ever had that I felt every day. I feel like I've made a difference to someone. So you know. But you know, at the same time, I'd fucking quit in a day. You know, I want to get.
I love them farm lads. I love them.
In the same breath, they're gone.
Like, give me enough money. I just want to get pissed out my head and play guitar. That's it.
Well, that's it's the thing you've dreamt of since you're a nipper, isn't it? Like, I mean, I actually really enjoy my job. You know, it's fucking badass. But at the same time, like, I've dreamt for so long, similar to yourself.
Well, yeah. How long have you been doing it?
What the knocking about autistic kids and that?
Yeah.
I've been doing it since. Well, fucking hell.
Here we go.
I don't want to go.
Give me a year.
Mate, I work for the fucking council. No, I've been doing it since I was 21. But I look like shit because I'm only 26.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're young, right? Yeah. So.
Yeah, I look. It's the beard, man.
You don't look like shit. I thought you were young. Anyway, you look good, man. Don't worry.
Yeah, I've been doing it for about...
Yeah, so you've been doing it not quite as long.
Why? How long have you been doing it?
I'm going to say in the next year, you'll start getting annoyed by it. I mean, some of these people, they're so selfish. I'm just like, I love you, man, but can you not think about anyone else for 1 second? Like, nah. Where's my cheese toasty? Fuck your cheese toasty, man.
I
could be on tour right now, you dickhead.
I've got some fucking great stories over the years. Fucking working with people like that. Like, I do love it. Like, I mean,
I agree.
Without doing my own preach thing, I've done this thing where I've set up something in Derbyshire to try and bring the two things together. Where like
you keep saying ting like it's a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing, man. It's a thing. Fucking pain in the arse you are, you know. Go on,
Derbyshire.
Just to try and bring the two things together, because I think like, autism and music's just badass, man. Like I think it's a proper evoke something in them, you know, because it's something that's.
What are you setting up in it?
So I'm doing a thing where like I'm basically trying to work with mainly high functioning around creative development. So it's like targeting photography, music, art, screen printing, and then we try and focus on that passion to then like make them feel more confident. Like you say, think about others more, try and bring that sense of community. So we've got a project that we're working on at the minute where we're going to do like a gig and an art exhibition in one go, where we've got one of them DJing, one of them doing the photography, one of them
nice.
Doing like all the media for it and that. So
that's cool, man. That's
awesome.
If you can get all that shit, like you said, with high functioning people, but still, if you can get all that's a hard job, even with like inverted commas, like normal people. To get done. So if you do that with people with certain issues, that's a really impressive thing, man.
We'll get Gorilla Riot down to play, man.
Wait. Let's see.
You're in the canteen making them cheese toasties.
Yes.
Hey, I'm up for that, man. I like cooking, but yeah.
Right, fucking. So now, obviously, it's looking like we'll hopefully be returning to live music. Hopefully.
Yeah.
What plans do you boys have? I mean, you've teased a few things. Have you got any gigs booked? Anything coming up for the rest of the year?
Go to Deggy.
Honestly, it's just rescheduled stuff from last year. And I was just saying to the guys the other day, like, with all the big outdoor festivals getting cancelled, it just misses it, apart from Reading and Leeds. Like, we've got a pretty good festival season, if you want to call it, of, like, all-dayers, to be fair. Like, we're playing at Home Firth Picture Drone with Massive Wagons. That's first gig back, so that's pressure.
Is it fuck? We'll smash him. I'm sure they're good.
Still. It's... Yeah, gig to go back to, innit? A venue you've always wanted to play, and it's like, fuck, okay. So we've got that. We've got Just Push Play. That's always a good do. Lee's a great dude. So that's really good to be a part of.
Aren't you guys on that as well?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that'll be good. I mean, Lee's just he's one of those like promoters, if you call him that, but he just seems like such a really sound guy.
Oh, he is, man.
Yeah, and his dude that he organises. Not like a lot of these promoters who chat a lot of shit and get fuck all done. He's seems like his dues are good. So
I
good
think
guy.
he cares. We chatted to him on his radio show.
Yeah.
And like, I think the biggest thing is he's a fan, and he cares.
Yeah, he's a really genuine, cool guy.
He doesn't put himself on the promoter fucking pedestal or anything.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Just on the same vibe.
And that's it. If you do that, he will do well out of it as well for his charity or however he does it. But those are the kind of guys that the music industry needs more of, I think.
No, agree.
Yeah, sure. And then what have we got? We've got Crazy Cowboy, which is going to be a disastrous masterpiece. It's just gonna be everything you want in one, and it's just going to explode. So I can't wait for that, because that guy's a mad. I love him.
Yeah, looking forward to it. It'll be good.
Yeah, that'll be good. And then I can't really remember beyond that, to be fair.
We're like, as a band, for us at least, we're not really looking for that much this year. We've got a plan of so we've got a release coming up, which we'll announce soon, and then we're recording the next album this year as well. So
cool, man.
And that's like, it's, without giving too much away, it's going to take a lot of time and recording stuff to get that right. So, I think as a band we're pretty happy to let this year, with what we've got booked, let it lie, and then next year we have to go work again. So
for sure.
But also you need times like when this lockdown thing happened, I was kind of like, as a band, like you will know, in this at the stage we're at, you're kind of forced to keep going out on the road, which is great. But when do you get time to actually work on real shit and get better? And you get better at live stuff, but playing the old songs, who gives a fuck? Like, let's do something new. We've been given like a year and a half to work on stuff, so I think we're gonna still use the rest of this year as we're still in lockdown, let's say, and let's use it to make two great records. Rather, because after that we're gonna have to fucking go for it. So
no, that's cool.
That's my thinking.
No, I think that's sick. I think if you take it as an opportunity, like you can fucking grow, and then when things are properly back to normal, without forcing anything, you can properly be for that. We had a chin wag with Jack from Piston. He had some pretty mad stories for the road. Some of them involving yourselves. Spoke highly of you boys. It's your opportunity to make Jack look like a wanker.
Jack would have spoken highly because Jack's a pussy. I mean, come on. It was the first home every time. These guys are crazy. I mean, yeah, we are. But like, Rob and Captain Jack from that band, Jack can hang with us, like everyone can. But Rob is an absolute weirdo. That guy, I love it. But my God, he's the strangest guy I've ever seen. Like he gets fucked and then he gets on the floor and starts biting people's ankles and shit. And everyone's just, it's not even like it's that like invasive, but it's like, what are you doing? I'm the king of rock and roll. Are you, Rob? Like, nice. What is going on, mate? Come back to the trailer. But I'm the king. Stop biting our drummer's ankle and get up off the floor, you dickhead.
I love, like, that when we're on tour with Massive, that was just like, because I knew, like, I got a little warning in advance. It's like, these guys like to play pranks, and it was like, all right, let's fucking have it. It is absolutely on from day one.
Yeah.
And me and Will, our drummer, were just like, all right, this is happening. So, like, I think it was Grimsby, second show. We hid frozen veg in Ben Laguna's suitcase, which was mint, and he didn't know about it for like 4 days.
Laguna, by the way, he's the lead guitarist from Massive, and he's probably, apart from like Slash and Angus and those big dogs, he's the best rock guitarist I've ever seen in my life. He's fucking incredible. But he's a child, that guy. He's like a 6-year-old idiot douchebag. And he loves it. He has the worst taste in clothes, the worst taste in shoes. I mean, the trainers and stuff. So he loves his shitty things. Carry on, Deggy.
So I remember before that tour started, I remember it was you, weren't it, Arjun? You was just like, yeah, I'm a bit skint and I need some shoes. And I was like, right, I'll buy you some shoes, but you can't complain. You have got to wear these.
Yeah.
I went to B&M, so I was like, they're the shittest pair of trainers.
B&M footwear.
He's having them. Having them. So I bought them, right?
They're awful.
The
They're
first gigs
awful.
at
Mate.
Bannerman's, he's got them on. Ben Laguna rocks up, and he's got like the worst pair of tyres I've ever seen in the world.
Yeah.
They make Arjun's trainers look like fucking Adidas superstars. It's like,
Mine were
what the
amazing
fuck,
compared
man?
to it. Honestly, it was
So
ridiculous.
me and
They're the
Will-
worst fucking kicks you've ever seen.
Oh man, abysmal. Like,
Yeah.
oh,
You get
fucking
bullied
upset.
at school for wearing that shit.
Yeah, there you go. So me and Will found it hilarious, just like this guy's taking it serious. So at the Wolverhampton gig we played at the Gifford with you guys, he was asleep. So I nicked his shoes. I can't remember where I put them, but I hid them, and he fucking shit hits the fan straight away. It's just like,
Wear me
"Deggy,
fucking
like,
shoes.
where's my
Wear
shoes?
me fucking shoes.
Where you put my fucking shoes?" And I was like, "Don't know, mate." It's like, "All right, well, I'm taking this box of records then." I'm like, "Right, take them." So he goes into another room with a box of EPs, where you guys were. He's like, and trying to interrogate him, like, "Where are my shoes?" And it's just like, "Don't know." So he starts rubbing each record one by one against.
This is
the
like
wall.
one of our like EPs that he's got. He's got the box.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, and he's there, he's rubbing the fucking records against his knob, just there, like, threatening us, just like, "Come on,
Yeah.
you can have them back."
He was never shy about getting his junk out. So like,
No, and
this
then
was
just
like it's like 5 in the afternoon. It's daylight. There's like
yeah.
hunters around, and he's just with his fucking jewels out, just going, give me fucking shoes. I'm gonna do this all day.
Anyone,
We all just looked at him like, go for it, mate. We don't really care.
yeah, and anyone who bought a record that night, you've got some Ben Laguna DNA on there.
Yeah.
Nice.
But then it went up a notch. We were in Reading, and Will Carter, big love, good mate of ours. He was doing an interview with both
Two
bands.
Finger
at
Media,
once.
check him out.
We were doing an interview with both bands at once, and I decided, like, right, he's having one last one. So I fucking kecked him on the interview and ran off with his pants and undies. And he's there just fucking cupping his knob, getting about. It's like, just want the pants. Can I have the pants?
Give my
And there's a
pants.
shot of
Give
him
me my
walking in
fucking
the
pants,
face, like,
man.
bare ass to the camera. And,
He's the funniest guy, man. He's also a little bitch. Like every time, if in sound check, you know how it is when like sometimes when you're playing at the level we are, the sound's never great, is it, on stage? If his guitar wasn't loud enough, he would have a fucking paddy.
yeah.
And Brad, the poor guy, you know, the front guy, it's just like, dude, just don't worry. Like, you need to turn down a little bit, and like we'll get through it. The guy would refuse to play, and he's the lead guitarist of that band. Like, there's no solos about him,
Yeah.
and
that
he's a
was
big
that
part of it. And he just stand there the whole time, like, they can't do it without me. I'm not playing. This is like a child. Are you fucking serious?
There was no solos for that Reading gig.
And I have two guys that
Did he not play the? Did he not
school
play
me
the
at
gig?
guitar in my own
No.
band, and this guy
What,
can
the solos
still
are-
blow, and he
Oh, that's amazing. I did Massive Boys take it. How did Brad take it? When he didn't play.
What's
When he
that,
didn't play.
sorry?
How did the Massive Boys take it when he didn't play the gig?
They just got on it like absolute professionals, mate. Because clearly they've had it before, right?
Oh yeah,
We were all like, "Is this actually happening? There's no, you can't do this." He did
that
it.
was the
He did it for the whole time.
It was
The entire
night.
show. It's like an hour and a half, and he's just there not playing. Like, this is insane.
I like the idea of him doing like Arjun said, where he's literally sat on the end of the stage, like with his legs crossed, like the band are playing, and he's sat and he's around, but he's just letting everyone know that I'm not playing. I can't do Arjun's amazing voice that makes him sound like he's a bee. Like,
But that's the thing. He would be on Lagoon would be on stage, and he'd let everyone know that he was there, but he wasn't playing. And it's just like, okay, great, you can. But the rest of them just troop through. But the thing is, like, he's so good, he needs to be in that band, and he knows it. So he's just like, I can do this.
fair play.
It's not the kind of guy I'd want to be in a band with, but I'm still happy to know the guy. 'Cause
Yeah.
he's a legend as well, by the way. I love that guy.
No, shout out and love to the Massive Boys as well. Like,
Massive,
I love
yeah.
it.
Good man.
That's just started a new podcast as well. That's fucking sick.
Yeah,
I was
they've got a new album coming out. Well, they're recording it now, right? So looking forward to it. Though.
Yeah, man.
That was that tour. I mean, we toured with some fun
Lansky.
people, man. Like we toured with Pat Lansky was huge. And
Yeah.
that guy's a beast. But you know, we were we had no right to be on that tour, to be honest. Like that guy's doing arena, like not theaters and stuff, and he's so professional, and and then you get us, you know, we're all right, but like, so that was awesome, and the guy was so accommodating and stuff, and it was really good. But Massive was a lot of fun. Those guys can drink almost as much as us, and they can have as much, you know, tomfoolery, let's say, and it was great, you know, fucking dudes, man.
Yeah. It's like even after that gig, I was speaking to Brett Hall the other day, just having a catch up, and I was like, "Yeah, weren't you guys just outside the back of the Gifford for like 3 or 4 hours just chatting with Massive?" And I was like, "Yeah, Ben Laguda was telling us about his prison convictions and how he worked." So that was fucking good. But then they got us good at the end of the tour. Fucking managed to con the van keys and then just stashed a load of fish around the van. So.
Oh man, there were so many fish, man. That van stuck with fish for like a month, man. Fucking.
What did they do? Fucking ram the van full of fish?
They literally went to the fish market in Reading, got fresh fish, and just shoved it all over all of our shit. And we were in the venue for like 12 hours, right? So we didn't know for the entire time.
Do you know what, man?
Get back to the van and it's like, something's off here, man.
That's just reminded me though, like Cowboy betrayed us that night, so he's fucking owed one. He's fucking owed one.
He's getting fucking kept next time.
That's the target for 2021. Fucking just make sure that he gets what he's owed.
Oh, he is.
Also, every band needs to aspire to Massive's fish game, man.
That's sick.
Their prank game is up there, man. It's good.
Like behind the glove box. You know, like when your glove box falls out and it's like, oh fuck, everything's going all under it. It's like in there, but like to the right.
Yeah, there's a fucking snapper in there.
Yeah.
Did you find any like 2 months later where you'd find?
No, it didn't take. Well, we did a big search, but it did take us like a good few hours. But that smell, no matter how much you deep cleaned it, it was. Oh, it was bad, man. It was bad.
Good effort, Massive. Good effort.
Yeah, well done, Massive.
Yeah, no, good. That was a fucking fun tour. That was good.
It was a fun tour.
It sounds it. It's great.
But also, shout out to Piston. After that, we did a tour with Piston.
That was a fucking melt.
They were late additions, actually. It was supposed to be just us and Hannah Whitland, but Piston were brought on, and first night I was just like, these guys. I like these guys.
This is gonna work.
Have a nice time. We did. We had a great time.
Nah, like I say, Jack spoke highly of you. Yeah, I felt the love.
Yeah, they're great guys, man, and they're doing fucking well, and I like them because they're fucking weird, and I like them a lot, and the music is cool, man. So fucking go for it, boys.
Finally, a question that I always like to ask everybody that comes on. It's a bit of a hypothetical one. If you could answer individually, if you could pick one band from the past and one band from the present to tour with, who would they be?
You go first, Deggy.
Comments. I've thought about it.
Yeah,
I can give you the same answer for both. So the band from the past would be Alice in Chains with Lane Staley. And the band now would be Alice in Chains with William DeVal. There's your same answer for both.
Hey, a real fan wouldn't have needed a specification on the lead singer, Deggy.
Well, I'm just playing to the audience.
You're catering. Stop catering, man. Just be.
Arjun, just shut up.
Alright, I need more of that.
I'll rip your dick off. Just chill out.
Hey, you'll have a hard time finding it, mate. Go for it.
Arjun, what would you have?
Alright. New band. These Wicked Rivers.
Oh, don't be a kiss ass. Come on.
Hey,
come on.
That's my fucking answer, mate. I'm on your podcast, so.
No, bless you.
Nah, well, if it's a big band, these Wicked
I'm
Rivers.
never giving you a
Oh, fucking God bless him.
And old band, man, I don't know. Rage Against the Machine. Man.
Sick.
Mm.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's cool, man.
I mean, it'd be annoying because you probably have a load of shit said you should do this, you should do that. But nice riff though.
Yeah. Less solo, more riff.
Yeah. Fuck your solos off, Tom. Who do you think you are? Play a riff. with your fucking fuck off, you know.
I'm a big fan of fucking. I mean, I'm gonna shit on you both because I'm more of an Audio Slave fan, which is probably
Same.
Ah, man, fucking banging.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. I prefer him. First album,
Oh, it's class.
incredible. Like, I think it's 10 out of 10 that album, man. But
Yeah.
That's a record that never leaves the van. It's always in the van. Audio Slave's first record.
It's always on at least once every 3 days for me, man. It's fucking incredible. That.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna say but touring with. You know what? I'm changing my answer.
Fuck.
Here we go.
I know you're trying to wrap it up, but
No, it's all
No,
right.
it's cool, man.
give me this one. I'm gonna go 87 Guns N' Roses.
Yes.
Because,
We've had a few go 87 Guns.
Mm.
yeah, just because, like, if I'm honest, I'm not really in it for the music. I'm in it to get fucked up. Like,
I mean, if you
my favorite thing in the world is this, right? So I'm going 87 Guns because I'd have a nice time.
If
The
you were-
shows would probably be terrible, but you know.
if you were going for pure like party vibes, you could go with like Motley Crue.
Yeah, but I think even I back myself, but they would outdo me. Have you read that book? My
Yes.
God.
We watched the
Like
fucking-
I'm up for partying, but I need to have a good friend group there. They just fuck each other's wives, and it's too much for me. Like.
So Guns is your nice like little. Guns is like your pontiff.
Yeah, Guns is like you all get fucked up, but you're not absolute dickheads to each other.
Yeah. Sick.
Yeah,
All
so
right,
that's my answer.
nice one, boys. Beautiful. Right, massive thanks for Arjun and Deggy from Gorilla Riot for
I
chatting.
change it. Away.
Fuck's sake, man! I'm in the thing.
Sorry, I'm just saying.
That was spammer in the work.
After Oasis.
Here we go.
After Definitely
Oasis.
Yeah. I'm a huge Oasis fan, man.
Same.
Oasis.
There's a
Definitely
tonal
be-
change there.
Yeah, that's my answer. Because
Oh, that'd be sick.
Are you sure?
Oasis.
See, right. So we've gone from Rage, and then we pissed ass to fucking Guns N' Roses 87.
Yeah.
He let me do the fucking ending sentence.
Yeah.
He stopped me, and now we're going Oasis.
Yeah.
Aaron,
I'm going
Aaron,
Oasis. I'm
He hasn't
sticking
even
with it.
covered- He hasn't even
Oasis.
covered Seal yet. Like, he's gonna go on to it.
Oh
You
yeah.
want to talk about
Cut-
Seal
cut
now,
me
just
off,
so you
cut
can
me
get it
off.
out your system?
Seal.
Do you have a Seal?
Yeah. For that one tune, 2 songs, crazy
Two
man,
songs.
crazy
Right.
great tune.
Yeah, like, imagine getting him doing backing for something though. That'd be dope.
Oh,
Oh,
sick,
man.
wouldn't it? Imagine pulling him out of the GIF, like behind
There's not enough horrible things in the world that will let this boner go down if I got to play with Seal. It would be incredible. Oh.
Maybe
I would grow at least 2 inches beyond myself to play with that guy.
magic.
Anyway, sorry.
No,
He's Vickard Rivers.
yeah. Well, this is it. Arjun's fucking gig. We've got Rivers opening, then fucking Seal doing 2 songs, and then Gorilla Riot, and then fucking.
Nah, we're not even playing, man. We got guns. We got guns,
We're
and
just
then
like-
we got fucking Oasis.
No, you can't fucking pick 2 or 3. They're not waiting in the car park.
They're all waiting for me.
Alan, can
You
we
don't
just
know.
can we chuck Motorhead in there as well? They'd be up for crack.
I mean,
Yeah, but,
I'm disgraced at you. I was expecting you to pick Motorhead.
Hey,
Yeah, but have you seen them live? They are mint, but they're not as good
right.
as some. What
It's
did you
one- I
pick
gave-
again, Deggy?
I gave a logical answer because my 3 favourite bands of all time are Motorhead, Turbo Negro, and The Cult. But I think for us, and I think Chains in either way would be the one I'd have to pick.
Deggy's going business. I'm thinking from the heart, man. Thinking from the heart. Come on. Basically, Alice in Chains. Yo, give us a slot, you dickheads.
Right, I need a piss. So Arjun, you're gonna have to let me.
Can I watch?
Yeah. No, you can, once we finish, I'll take the laptop up. And you can have a look at my troublemaker.
My night is sorted now.
Yeah,
Sweet.
man. Yes. Fucking Ryan, right, has got this set up so that he doesn't have to edit anything afterwards. We completely fucked the entire thing.
You know what's happening? I'm leaving that last segment in.
Hey, go for it. Go
People
for
will
it.
watch till the end. I hope there's a zoom-in feature on YouTube. See what happens. Right, massive thanks for Arjun and Deggy from Gorilla Riot for chatting to us. For those that haven't already picked up some Gorilla Riot goodness, check out their online store, pick up your copy of Peach. Make sure you give them love on Facebook, Insta, and all that.
Fucking
lovely
good,
bollocks.
man.
Yeah, it's fucking good, man. Hopefully see you boys
Yeah.
at a gig soon.
Alright.
Yeah, man, for sure.
Cheers, guys.
Fucking
Thanks
enjoyed
all
it,
for having us.
boys. So that was our brothers Deggy and Arjun from Gorilla Riot. I enjoyed that, man. As I said before, like teased it, it was a much more like similar to when we spoke to Jack from Piston. You know, every chat we have we enjoy, but some of them feel more like we're just having a pint and it's a bit of a catch up. You know, and I felt that vibe.
Yeah, I like the stories. I'm always big on the stories.
I like the stories.
I'm always big on the story. Well, the thing is that, you know, per person, they're always going to be completely different.
Yes,
you know,
and they all come out differently as well.
Yeah, and this is it. It's just interesting.
I like the discussion around the new wave of classic rock because I think it was brave. Not a lot of bands had put that discussion out there, and I think that takes I think there's rather than. It's very easy to say that takes balls, you know, but I think it's a very mature thing to have a conversation like that. It's okay to have discussions around the scene we're involved in and whether we're all doing as much as we can and whether it's all the right thing. There's nothing wrong with that, you know, and I think it's important to have them discussions openly between all bands and everyone that's involved in it, you know, and I just thought it was cool of them to put that out there and to have a bit of a chat about it, you know.
Yeah, you know, I think... they're genuine, so that you know.
Arjun in particular. I mean, Deggy's a dude, but Arjun, you know, he's a character and he don't take any shit, you know. And I respect him for that, man. He knows where he wants to be, and as a band, I get that feeling. You know, it's not like it's just Arjun, like with Deggy as well. I feel like they all stand together on that, you know, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, you know, I think they clearly have an idea of what they want to be doing, where they want to be going, and you know, you can't help but respect them for that. So
I'm pretty sure that even though we've all left the Zoom conversation, Arjun's camera's probably still on.
I think it's still on now.
Yeah, we chatted with Deggy afterwards when Arjun went and his camera just remained on. I think it's the first time he's ever been on Zoom, and I think wherever he is now, that laptop will still be on his bed probably. You know?
I love that he he was like, oh, I've got to go now. So he just got up and walked away.
Yeah, and then we chat with Deggy for ages, and you know, it's a good job we didn't get changed in his bedroom at the time. Otherwise, we would have seen what was properly Santa's sack at that point. You know, so.
Yes. But yes, that is all for this week.
It is, yeah.
So we will see you next week. If you want to follow us on Facebook and all those kind of things,
don't get upset about the YouTube, all right? Because I know it bothers you, and I don't want it to affect you again. So I'm going to say it on Ryan's part. If you're listening on Spotify, what are you doing? Come on YouTube. Can we give us some love, man?
Yes. But yes, if you follow us on Facebook, you'll find that, or Instagram, you'll find that on Wednesdays we release a teaser of who is coming out. So again, you're missing out if you're not following us.
And if you are giving us love, watching our beautiful mugs right now on the YouTube, like, subscribe, share the love, and keep the vibe going.
Yes, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.